Welcome back to the second video of our series, Building and Explaining a CCA Comps Trading Multiple Tool with Automated and Manual Data Collection Capabilities. In this video, we will start building the main input sheets called Control and Calculation. The Control sheet will be used to input basic information like the company identifier of a data provider, defining names of peer groups, and additional fields for free data entry, as well as time-related information and exchange rates. The calculation sheet is the main data sheet in the whole workbook. In this sense, the magic happens here, particularly the financial data to calculate the multiples is automatically collected or manually entered in the calculation sheet. We will dedicate part 3 of the series on the calculation sheet. Therefore, today's video is laying the groundwork and a rather brief video. But let's get started with an almost empty worksheet. At this stage, a brief disclaimer: the tool and structure are based on my experience and do not represent an industry or state-of-the-art standard. As mentioned in the introduction video, the tool is a simple Excel model and should provide first insights in how relative valuation is working. In that, the model is used to explain the concept and calculation of multiples, showing pros, cons, and pitfalls, but is neither exhaustive in terms of utilized data nor possibilities looking into relative valuation. As always, you are invited to improve, adapt, or expand the model based on your requirements. Just drop us a mail if you are interested in the model. At first, we build a control sheet for basic information like input of tickers or company identifiers for your data provider, company names, peer group definition, time periods, and so on. The sheet is basically a supplementary sheet for the whole workbook and defines mainly the different time identifiers of your data provider and is used as input sheet for general information like, for example, exchange rates. As mentioned, we are focusing on CapitalIQ and therefore use the respective syntax. The first two sections are straightforward. We input the respective identifiers, which are then used to automatically collect the company name. Next, we have some input fields to define different peer groups, peer 1, peer 2, additional fields which you are able to freely input data. You will see in a later video how we use these fields for additional information or calculations, which could be helpful when analyzing the multiple tables. The next sections are dedicated to time periods and timing. First of all, we enter the current year, which is then used to calculate the labeling of the time periods. Next, we define a switch which is used to select the data. Typically, we focus on LTM data, last 12 months. However, we also enter calendar year data, which is then used to collect calendarized data to enable a relative valuation of your peers based on a calendar year data. However, for a moment, we will stick to the LTM data. So, what does this mean? To give you a better overview, we introduce these supplementary fields, which basically just utilize the different time identifiers of CapitalIQ based on your selection, calendar year or LTM. As you can see here, on the calendar year basis, we use the calendar year identifiers. For the LTM data, we use as the past year, the last fiscal year, and for the LTM data, or for the current year, the LTM data. As you notice, for the future, or the estimates, +1, +2 years, we also use for the balance sheet data, the LTM data. The reason for that is quite simple. Typically, you don't have any future balance sheet data which is used for the EV calculation of your multiple calculation. Therefore, you rely on the most actual data, which in our case is the LTM data. Furthermore, you don't have the future share price, unfortunately. Therefore, you also rely on the actual data, typically on the last sale price, or as you will see in a minute, on a fixed date, which you can enter. On the P&L side, we do not have any identifier for the future. Why? Because we use estimates which are collected via the data provider, in our case CapitalIQ. So there are dedicated formulas to collect automatically the estimates for the next year and the year after that. On the other hand, you could also use broker reports, which typically also have estimates for profitability related KPIs in the future. On the historical side, we use the same identifiers as for the balance sheet data. Next, we specify the date of the share price, which shall be used to calculate market capitalization or equity value. In this case, we also have a switch for the last sale price or a fixed date, which you could enter in case you would like to perform any merger analysis or other analysis related to a specific time. Next, we input exchange rates, which are used to calculate or to take into respect that the peers are based in different countries and utilize different currencies for financial statement data and perhaps even share prices. This is relevant when you would like to compare EVs or any other financial KPIs. In case of multiple calculation, the currency is simply cancelled out, so no worries on the multiple calculation. However, always make sure that you do not mix up currencies in your calculations or output sheet when showing financials, EVs, etc. We will show you an example in our analysis video, but for the moment, always check filling and trading currencies of your peers. We will also integrate a simple check in the calculation sheet. Finally, we add a language selection switch to give you an additional language option for the output table. In this respect, we also add a simple dictionary sheet at the end of the workbook. Furthermore, we add a multiple cap to exclude any non-meaningful multiples in our tables. I will elaborate on that at a later stage. With that, we have finalized the control sheet. In the next video, we will build a calculation sheet, which will be more detailed in terms of data input and multiple calculation. As always, please feel free to drop us an email if you're interested in the model or you have any question related to valuation or corporate finance. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for watching and bye-bye.